Today we're going to talk the subject on the DTC valve, typically found in low temp scroll compressors. And the reason for that DTC valve is because when we look at the old style semi-hermetic compressors, those in that application in low temp, they had a lot of cast iron. So there was a lot of steel there to help dissipate that additional heat of compression and the superheat that came. When you look at this scroll, it doesn't have a lot of cast iron. So there's not a lot there to help dissipate the heat in this body. So they've had to add liquid injection onto this compressor. And so what they've done is we tie into the liquid line and we basically have an expansion valve with a bulb into the head of the compressor, the dome of the compressor. And typically this is set at about 194 degrees. Now some of the other scrolls might have a 240 degree or 250 degree style bulb, but they found that that wasn't good for operation. So basically they put out a bulletin now stating that basically everything now should be basically 194 degrees. Well, what that means is this bulb is into the dome of this compressor, and when that temperature in this bulb gets to 194, it starts opening this valve to take in saturated liquid vapor into the scroll set to help cool it. So when we look at this scroll or look at this DTC valve, there's some issues possibly if you go through and you have a low temp scroll that when it goes to pump down, when the low pressure switch energizes or de-energizes the contactor, that you want to make sure between this DTC valve and when we talked earlier about the check valves, it's typical to see this compressor possibly jump suction pressure anywhere between 6 to 10 pounds. So you want to make sure you have your differential set so it doesn't keep going back and forth on the low pressure switch. If you've noticed that when it pumps down and it jumps, but it still continues to kind of climb, there could be two issues going on. Number one, it could be maybe we've got debris in this check valve that is allowing the discharge gas to come back through the scroll set, or potentially maybe we got debris into the expansion valve, which is our DTC valve. And it's very easy to kind of go through and check this. So basically what you would do to rule out the DTC valve is on this Trenton unit, we've got a ball valve on this line. So basically when you go to pump this unit down, try to do a pump down, before you shut this ball valve off. All right, that would eliminate the liquid going up and feeding this valve. So if the unit pumps down and shuts off and stays, then you know you've got an issue possibly with debris. And with this valve, we definitely have a screen. You could take the screen out and clean it and see if it goes back and works okay. If it doesn't, then potentially you've got to change the valve. Or if you come through and when it pumps down and shuts off and you got this valve shut off and it's still starting to climb, well then you would have an issue with the check valve in the compressor.